Welcome, everyone, to this very special journey of mine, which is called the 1 Million Project. In this video, I will explain what this project is all about. I will explain what my vision looks like, and I will just talk about what I think is right and what you should know. So let's do the first episode of many more to come. This is the 1 Million Project, and here we go. So when I was a kid, I basically had the dream of becoming free. But free of what, essentially? Well, I basically saw, I didn't know it yet back then, but I saw how the system is basically killing people. And what I mean by that is the system we live in, depending on your country, of course, is killing freedom. It doesn't allow a certain degree of creativity, freedom, the wish to do whatever you like, whatever you want, whenever you want it. It's basically not tolerated. In some countries more and some countries less. But essentially, we're all trapped in a system, running around for money, for credits, for acknowledgement, for the fame, at least some of you. And what we have to ask ourselves is, what is life really about? And what is a life worth living? And I think I have asked myself this question when I was a little kid, and I always had problems sticking to the rules of this system. And I always had problems accepting the simple truth, what they tell you, or try to tell you, that this is your life, you have to deal with it, and you cannot crash into the walls too much, and you have to accept their rules. And it's just seemed very, very dumb when I was a kid, and now it even seems more stupid and also very criminal, because what they are doing is they are ripping you off of your future that you could have, and they are replacing it with a system, with a future that they decide. And now in this world, you basically see it in all aspects of life. So you see it socially, you see it in education, you see it with your health, especially with economics, the economy, with your finances, and also freedom of expression, freedom of thought. Every aspect gets controlled one way or another, and it is basically restricting you from the life that you should have. Now, to make it short, what is this project about? Well, we mostly live in a world of capitalism, and what do we need? Money. We need money for freedom. So basically, money is a tool to buy the life that you want. And that's the harsh reality that we live in. And now, what is the truth, at least my truth at this point? I'm a law student, so I know the rules. I know law, and I know that many countries I would say all countries play a dirty game. And what happens is you either play their game or you break out. And now, what do you need? You need money. You need money to break free. Now, how do you get money? With a normal job. I mean, what even is a normal job? I would consider a normal job a average paying job that pays the bills, where you can go on a normal vacation, not too expensive, once or maybe twice a year for 1 week, and the rest of the time you have to work. You are in a system. If you have a family or a debt or responsibilities, maybe you just work and that's it. And you have to be thankful, they say. Now, if you are programmed to think that this is the reality and there is no way out of it, and well, some people are just lucky, that's it, you are brainwashed. Because at first you have to deprogram and you have to accept that this is a false reality that you are living. You can't break free. It's just that it's enormously hard to do, and it takes a lot of work and definitely a lot of time, but in the end, it's worth it. And so, here is what this project is about. As the name says, it's pretty simple. We go for the million with whatever amount you have. And in my case, it's from a very, very small amount. I start from around 200 to 500 euros, and that's it. You don't need more, but you definitely need a lot of skills and a very good mindset and an edge to do this. And I'll explain that in a minute. Now, in this video, I want to talk about the mind, the mindset. And it's not scripted. I'm basically telling you what I think. So what you need, you first need to understand that in order to break free, that means you have to get or become an outsider. And why is that? Because the masses are following the system, the trend. They are within the system. And what's even crazier, they will freely protect the system because they live off of the system. So most people, even though you can say they are enslaved, they will protect the system because it feeds them. And that's the craziest thing, at least in my opinion, that you have to understand and break free from. Now, once you have understood this, you can move forward and basically understand, okay, it's doable, so we can break free, but how do we do this? Now, here we come to the tricky part. Many people have tried, most fail. Why is that? In my opinion, in today's world, we live in a world where many things go wrong, but for the purpose of this video, what I think, and I've made that mistake 1,000 times, we are all brainwashed. Also, with investing, finances, especially in trading, or it's not even trading, it's what we call trading. So you have to understand that real trading is not learning it on YouTube from me, or what's worse, from shiny gurus and marketing people that try to sell you something. Learning trading is not um, trying to flip accounts all the time with crazy risk. It's not about making the million in 1 week or 1 month, even though you could, but you won't. And it's not about um, scalping. And it's not about some crazy EA or AI that trades for you. It's not about buying signals from some idiot. It's not about looking on Instagram and social media for inspiration. It's not about buying some so-called courses for a few bucks. It's not about using or buying indicators while most of them are lagging. It's not about these things. So trading is about finding an edge in the markets, however you do it. And most of you are doing it completely wrong because you're not doing anything differently than most other people. So how do you want to find an edge if you are repeating everything that basically everyone is doing? You can't. You are lagging information, real time and academic information, and also real finance, real investing information, because you just don't get it from YouTube, you just don't get it from an old book, you just don't get it from some uneducated, unprofitable person that tries to sell you information. It's just not true. It's a lie. It's a scam. So overall, this field is very crowded with uneducated, criminal people, and then also with some unlucky people that basically entered the markets without any barrier, because you can basically deposit $10, which was 10,000 before. So basically anybody from anywhere around the world can enter the markets and do something, claim something, and it's just not true. So what I have experienced the last 8 years is that there's some people who basically want the best for you. It's very rare. And most people just want to sell you some crap. And most of them know it. Some people don't even know it. They actually think they got something when they don't. So overall, just don't buy anything. Even if you want something, if you're smart, you will find it for free on the internet. Hence why these episodes are completely free. I'm not selling anything. This here is a journey. And as they say, nothing really is free? Well, guess what? I'm basically selling you my time. So it's not free for both of us, but you don't have to pay any money. So why am I doing this? Well, because I'm just fed up with this bullshit that's all over the internet, and because nobody fucking helped me, and because I want to make a difference in a different way. That's my motto. And because it's fun, you know. This journey can be lonely. It definitely has been for me, but it's fun, and you will learn so many things about yourself, about breaking down, about losing, about lies, about people, about finance, about the economy, about scams, about the government, about the whole industry. You will learn so many things that are interconnected, and you basically need to adapt. You need to become someone who can handle all these things: the stress, the focus, the discipline, to learn all the time and not stagnate, to go against the flow, against the masses, to think out of the box, and much more. So, this is a very exciting time and project, and I will try to be completely honest with you. And so, let me just start with my experience, and we will go from there. So, I basically had this dream when I was a kid. You know, I understood that the system is not what it claims to be. It's unfair. All of these things. I have to do something. I somehow stumbled upon binary options, which is complete bullshit, as you should know. And that got me interested, but also with the wrong mindset. So I had the gambling mindset, which is completely wrong. And I had the get rich quick mindset, obviously, which, yeah, is the worst thing you can have. And it took me many years, besides my studies in university. And I never lost interest, it only got more. And I always had this dream that I want to become financially free and generally just free and do whatever the fuck I want when I want and not answer to anybody and depend on anybody. Um, yeah, just how life should be. Well, nice dream, isn't it? So, my experience has been a rough journey, to be honest. That's also because of my personality, because of my personal life, which I don't want to get into too much at this point, maybe later. And so I basically jumped from system to system, from indicator to indicator, from dream to dream, and all of them were unrealistic. And I failed. It's not even a lie. I failed maybe more than 10,000 times. I don't know. So I had no help. I had no financial education. But I know where I find things. I know who to ask. I can read people pretty good. And this basically brought me on this crazy journey where I experienced this whole thing from the start, So I basically was there before social media. I was there when the first people sold signals. I experienced it all. I was there before, like, the retail prop firms, before that was a thing. So I've learned many, many things. Um, but the most important thing may be that don't trust anybody on the internet. It's as simple as this. It's all a lie. And this is not a negative video in any sense, it's just realistic, and somebody has to say it. So let me repeat it. Don't trust anybody on the internet. 99% of these people are uneducated. They just want to sell you something. They make stupid amounts of money with these things, but most of them can't trade. It's just statistics. Also, most of them are liars, bad people, and just think logically and rationally for a second. Why should you learn and invest your time and money into someone who cannot prove that they are really, really good? Most of you just think people are really, really good, but they aren't. In all of these years, I've just seen 2 to 3 traders who are really, really good. And from who I have learned a few things, but it's just a few. And statistically, you will lose much more money first if you trust those people compared to doing your own thing. So the biggest problem in this industry is basically trust and to get proper education, because yeah, it's all a lie, it's not worth your time, it's stupid. So what can you do? Well, you can basically try to find a mentor who has a track record, who is in the game for at least 10 years, and someone who, yes, honest. But as I said, it's pretty hard to find, and it took me many, many years to find a few people. And it wasn't one person where I learned it all. It's basically a few people where I have learned a few things that basically helped me a lot, but the rest was self teaching, self testing. So I basically did the rest on my own. Now, the other thing is you do it as I did it. You do most of the things you test yourself, but therefore you have to know what you are looking for. So you need a basic strategy, a basic ground of knowledge and information that basically guides you to where you need to go. So that is a basic. Now, I will try to explain more in the next videos when I find time. You can use that as a foundation, but I advise you to always do your own research. So I've spent weeks and months basically doing my research with brokers, with trading, with technical analysis, with fundamental analysis, with people, with psychology, and so on. So it takes a while to get there. So yeah, let me just say that. And you basically you add something each week until you have this level where you feel, yeah, that's enough. At my point, I think it's never enough, but at some point you have to say, well, that's enough and that's good enough to actually make it. Because perfection is not good in this game and probably no game. So, yeah, you just need an edge. It doesn't have to be perfect. That also took me a long time to understand. Now, once you got this, you you have to make a very solid plan and you have to stick to it. And that's it. Now that sounds very easy and it's very hard to do for most people. And most people actually fail within the edge and the plan. So people have no edge. They think they have, they don't. And their plan is complete shit. So I will explain in a short video all of these things, what you need to look for, what you should do, but again, do your own research. Now, how will I approach this project? First of all, it's very individual. So in my case, I know my weaknesses and I know my mistakes that I've repeated over and over again. So let me very openly and transparently talk to you about this so you can maybe relate, learn from it, and so on. So, the biggest mistakes that I've made is previously I had no edge. That was very clear. Now, from trading itself and the testing, it's very clear my plan has an edge. Now, the next step basically is my expectations were way too high and way too unrealistic. So that doesn't mean that your goals have to be very realistic, because very realistic could mean doing something that is similar to a very normal job. And that, in my opinion, as I've just talked about, is too realistic. It's the system. You want to break free. And it should not take 20 years to do it. So, how should you approach this? Well, the mistake I made was I expected way too much, way too fast, and that is a guarantee to fail basically. Why is that? Because statistics in trading matter a lot. Math matters a lot. So there are limits basically. So most of us are far from these limits, but for other limits, we're all within. What do I mean by this? So, for example, with most pairs, there's an average daily range where price can move. Sometimes you have crazy big moves, I don't know, with elections and big news and unexpected events and so on. But for the most part, price is moving, in some patterns, and it also moves, in some daily ranges. So that is one limit that you factually have. So you cannot expect, basically, I don't know, when yesterday price moved 100 pips, the price today will move 1,000 or 10,000. That would be unrealistic. It's not impossible. For example, the when the Swiss franc crashed, yeah, there was a big move, but it's very uncommon. So there are limits that you have to respect. Another limit is I don't believe in scalping anymore. And why is that? Well, I know there are people who are very profitable with day trading and scalping, but it's very rare. And the reason is because people tend to expect too much from scalping because the time aspect makes you believe that there are unlimited good opportunities and possibilities in the markets every day when this is not true. And also, I don't know, people tend to only look at one pair, which is extremely stupid in my opinion. Because, yeah, focus is nice, but if your discipline and plan is not on point 100%, and for most people it's not, then you will definitely fail because the market doesn't give a perfect trade according to your strategy every hour, every day. It could not even happen every week. So, yeah, it's just for most people unrealistic. Not for all, but for most. And I include myself with scalping because I tend to expect too much. I get too emotional. I break the plan, and I guess too much. And that doesn't make any sense. I mean, why do I put so much time into this when I clearly fail and can't make it with this one method? So then I need to switch method. Um, and yeah, so for me, scalping doesn't work. It works for some people, it might work for you if you're that kind of guy, but doesn't work for me. So how do I go forward with this project? Well, I have created a plan with basically two sides and two opportunities, and one is realistic and will take a lot of time, and the other one is a little bit more unrealistic, hence more risky, and it should take less time. However, the more risky plan might fail, and maybe even both. And that's fine, but what we do here, we try to calculate risk and manage risk and play it to break free. And so, what we start with right now is the mindset and your perspective. So, let me tell you something. The reason why most people fail is not because their mindset is incorrect or wrong. It's because they suck as a trader and because they don't have any edge and because they don't understand how the markets work. Now, there might not be one strategy or one mechanism or one system as people claim. Uh, I will not say any names, but you all know who I mean. Um, yeah, it's complete bullshit. There is no algorithm that controls it all, and once you understand it, you will be a billionaire. No. Trading works with calculated risk and in patterns, and you basically have to play your edge, and that also means that you will lose, and that means taking a crazy amount of risk will blow the account, and this will lead to a downward spiral where most people don't make it out. So here's my approach. And by the way, I've probably failed. I've blown probably 40 small accounts and prop challenges. Um, so I know why you lose. I know how a plan should be. I know why these things happen. Now tell me, who is honest about this? Most people are not. So here's what I will do. And I'll explain that in detail. So this is the intro with the next videos um, very clearly so that you completely understand what I will do. But here's roughly what I will do. I basically have 2 to 3 accounts for different risk purposes, and I intend to risk on one account around 20 to 30%, and on another account around 50%, and on a third account with a bigger balance around 10%. Now, you might think that is a lot of risk. Well, guess what? You will not make it to 1 million in a reasonable time with 1% risk. Because then your position risk might be very low, 1% or less. But the problem is that you tend to take more risky trades out of your plan. You tend to scalp, and if you do it with a prop firm, I only know 1 to 2 very reliable prop firms, and they basically have limits, and it will take you much longer with a prop account, while I would even be worried that they don't even pay huge amounts anymore in a few months or a few years, when you want to withdraw 100k or 200 or even more. So again, prop firms, if they are one of the few good ones, they are a very good way to gain more capital and trade less risky. But recently, the tactics have been so shady and so shitty, that I've basically lost trust in those firms, and I'm also not interested to work with someone where I have a conflict of interest with them, or they have with me, as trading is hard enough as it is. So yeah, for some that works, for me at the moment not, but I will definitely do a challenge at a later stage and update you about this. But right now, um, I'm person I am personally not ready for a prop challenge. I'm definitely ready for my own rules, and yeah, to manage my risk. So here's how we do it. I told you I have these accounts, and I basically aim for at least a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. And I will only take swing trades where a trade can take anywhere from a few hours when it's fast to more likely a few days to even more than a month. And these weekly to monthly trades are intended to be played out on bigger account sizes, because then it will basically look more for a triple confirmation, so a confirmation within a confirmation within a confirmation, while taking the lower risk with bigger stops, so to speak, if you know what I mean. I'll explain that in a video. And for the early stages, I intend to look for a confirmation within a confirmation on the time frames. And so the rough plan is to look for one trade a week that wins. Now, obviously, it's pretty hard to do a high win rate, so I would definitely lose. But I will try to end the week with a win or at least a break even. It will not happen every week. And here comes the part for transparency where I failed most of the time. So obviously there's always something going on in your life and you have some pressure, some more, some less. I have a lot of pressure because of family, life, work, all of these things. Um, this made me do stupid mistakes because I got very, very impatient, which will kill you in trading. And I basically had FOMO all the time and I killed my accounts. Um, yeah, because I wanted it now, because I wanted it fast, and that will not work. So, what you should do in this case, write a plan, take a step back, and basically focus on the process and make it very realistic while keeping the risk reasonable. And that depends on you. As I said, if you start with a higher amount, maybe it's 1%, maybe it's 10, maybe it's more for you. You have to figure that out with what amount you feel comfortable. I think I found a balance for me. So starting with a very small account, you obviously don't care too much about the account, which you shouldn't, but you need to manage risk and you need to treat every small trade as if you would trade a million. So it's about the percent, not about the money as that comes. So um, my balance for the accounts is, as I said, let's assume I have 3 accounts with 200 euros or dollars in it. One account is 10% risk, the other account is 20 to 30% risk, which must be the same. Obviously, you can't risk 20 and then 30%, you should risk the same. And let's call it a high risk calculated gambling account. That's 50% risk, and we basically expect to blow this account. And the reason I'm doing this is because, first of all, there could be a winning streak, and it, as winners and losers are distributed randomly, so it could be that there are 10 winners in a row, and that basically made the million. Yeah, or you lose it and you've only lost 100 or 200 euros. Now, with the other accounts, obviously 30% is a lot of risk too. It doesn't take many trades to blow the account. And again, remember, it's hard if you've lost half of your account. You need 100%, so you need to double your account just to get back to break even. So that's hard to do and sometimes hard to manage, but again, this is the 1 million project and we will not make it from small amounts if we don't do this. Now, obviously, why am I not doing prop firms at the moment, as risk is less and money is more at the beginning? Simply because most people don't pass the challenges, so that's extra stress for me. Um, Again, most have shady practices at the moment, so I want professional firms and not some retail crap. Um, I will do it in the future at some point, but right now, no. Um, and with these small accounts, the problem is that you sometimes don't treat them as you should, as important, because you think, oh yeah, it's just some small money, it doesn't matter. Well, it should, because if you treat this account as you would treat a big prop account or a 1 million account, you will definitely make it. So yeah, treat it as if the small trades matter the same as the big ones, because they do. This is so important to realize that you don't get to these big amounts if you don't treat the small trades as important as the big ones. It's just a process, and you are at the start. So start, but do it right. And yeah, I hope I basically gave you an intro to this project and made it clear what my goal is and how I think. Um, yeah, and this first video is not so much about um, the project itself, but about the things that have led me here and that might help you, and some experiences which are very important to understand. So, to give you some final note on this, again, don't trust anyone on here, not even me, because do your own research and get a feeling and experience for what's good and what isn't. And pay your price, obviously. You will lose money, that's normal. You just shouldn't develop a gambling addiction or lose all of your money, because that will definitely hurt and is not healthy. And yeah, all of these things sound stupid, but it's very true, obviously. So, with this project, I don't care if like 10 people will watch this or 1 million. To be honest, I even hope that in the beginning nobody will watch this, because yeah, it's less pressure on me. Um, but yeah, I'll definitely share the journey. And let me say one last thing about my own experience. So, the hardest thing for me right now is to basically have the patience and focus on good trades and deal with losses. And I will do this by just focusing on my goal. And every one of you should have a very big goal, otherwise, you won't make it. Why you need to succeed. So, for me, it's very personal. It's really love and freedom. So, that might be very basic to you, but it's true. And it means a lot to me. It means the world to me. And yeah, there's nobody coming to help you, and the market will kill you, it will eat you if you're not good, if you don't give your best, and even then, there's no guarantee at all, um, yeah, that you will make it. But guess what? I will make it, and I will share the journey with you. You need that reason, you need that goal, the why you want to do this. So I will share the plan, the strategy, in the next videos and episodes. Um, yeah, and it will all be free. I will make a difference, and I will not claim to be someone. Let's assume I'm just a nobody in this game. I'm doing my thing, having fun, um, and helping you and sharing this journey with you guys. And it's a diary for me. It's a diary to improve every day. I'm far from perfect. I have many things I need to do. And this is no teacher, mentor claiming to be the king, telling you what to do. I'm just sharing what works for me and what doesn't and what I need to change very transparently. And I would love to connect with you guys. And yeah, I don't care if you laugh about it, if you are happy about it, if you, whatever you feel. I just hope to connect with like minded people. And for all the supporters, thank you. Looking forward to, yeah, have this journey and share it. And to all the haters, well, thanks for motivating me, I guess. And, well, like focus on your life first, man. Um, and don't hate. There's nothing to hate, just experiences to share. Life is short, so enjoy. Have a good one. And yeah, thanks for listening. And to all my German listeners, hi, wir schaffen das. Und es wird spannend. See you. Bye bye.